Lilith is depicted different ways in different periods of time by different individuals, but ultimately she represents the jealous harlot. In my past videos, I was discussing jealousy and how it contributed to the views of people. These religious arguments go back long before recorded history, and it's very simple, What are the roles of people in society? And over the years, for thousands of years, the most respectable cultures were patriarchal. And so you heard standing on the lions symbolize treachery and trickery being used to have a perceived victory, right? It's obviously not a real victory, because when you cheat, it's not the same as when you naturally achieve it through hard work and dedication. So it's the same thing with these people that drug people. People who take performance-enhancing drugs, these are the most shallow people of all. And it is very essential to expose what they're doing. Because a lot of why of, what they're doing what they're doing is because they want to look good. They want to impress people. They want to have that reverent power. And if you give it to them, it marks, the failure of humanity. You can't even go through the motions of giving it to them, And it really separates the cowards from the convicted, So when you talk about being a convict, right? It's a funny little play on words, right? Being convicted in your views versus being conned, So the difference between somebody who's there for having religious conviction, moral conviction, and somebody who's there because they're conned and they're controlled opposition, like you see with gang members and these Satanist groups and all these cowards. There's no way to escape it. That when you look at this thing for what it truly is, the essence of it, it is the Eurasians attempting to finish the debate over spirituality and the nature of God and the nature of a powerful spiritual being, trying to redefine it. And so when you have these jealous harpies, these sickos, Anton LaVey and all these people talking about how they can be the best witch they can be, right? And you look at the Satanist movement and how it really works and who these people are. These are despicable, sickly dogs that came up with this shit. So when they try to have their priesthoods and stuff, they try to mimic that despicable, sickly look. And it's not something that I think they would even deny. It's like, yes, Lilith is referred to as the hag, the screech owl. You have Bohemian Grove, and you have a bunch of, people who are dressing up and mimicking hags, right? And of course, witches are also known for doing magic and mixing chemicals to try to make themselves look better. And of course, there's a strong element of, pagan-inspired makeup, if you will, Satanist-inspired, Luciferian inspired. That's a part of it as well. I'm not saying all cosmetics and makeup, are evil per se, but certainly that is a part of the psychological operation of the inferior forms of life. Another way to look at it is these people couldn't possibly believe the despicable shit they propagate, and anyone who sees it that way is a dumb fuck. However, one thing that isn't proven is the martial arts priesthood and people who live in reality. I'll tell you like this, you are a fucking moron if you accept the martial arts order given to you by Babylon. You are an idiot. You have no love for your culture. You need to abandon these ideas. Oh, Bruce Lee's the best ever. Or, Van Damme, or, abandon all this nonsense, this UFC nonsense. Get that stuff out of your head. It is Satanism trying to use these things that were used to partially to determine the social order and certainly to determine the spiritual order to then, help them enforce their social order, their non-spiritual order. Because again, when you look at what they believe, nobody is that despicable naturally. Nobody is that stupid. It is simply about control and mocking the truth. It is the philosophy of jealous pussies that mock the truth and use, intellectual jargon and pseudoscience and fabricated evidence to, make their narrative seem true. It is absolutely despicable the kind of sickly dogs that you see in their variations. You see tall, lanky, sickly, gay-looking motherfuckers. You see short, decrepit, sickly motherfuckers. You see all kinds of, you see fat idiots. You see gang members who have taken on Satanism. You see all kinds of these sick fucks, and you cannot miss the parallels that are there between Lilith and these whores, between hooded demons and, demonic beings and cultists and, hooded gang members who have a satanic culture and the thug culture, and how it feeds into the Age of Enlightenment philosophies, do as thou wilt. We should be on equal ground to determine, how things should be, right? That's part of this whole idea of Satanism. It's like all these other gods should be fairly represented. We shouldn't just be Christians, we should all have a say. It shouldn't just be these people, right? And there's certain truths to what they're saying, but when you really examine them, there's only one God, no all the other gods. They had their say. We've been there and done that. We're past that. We moved on. You pagans were wrong. You were proved to be despicable trash over, time and time again. We're beyond that. So then you have these fucking dumbasses who want us to regress to a time when stupid, sniveling bitches attempted to usurp the priesthood, which really is what the story in the Bible is about, right? Why did Sodom and Gomorrah fall? Why did Babylon fall? Regardless how you slice it, even if you want to say that the wordplay says they weren't necessarily gay, that part of their culture was homosexuality. They were gays. Whether, you want to pretend that wasn't specifically cited, in the scripture, or they're alluding to something else, or it's lost in translation. The bottom line, there was a bunch of gay, sick pagans and a bunch of witches who were trying to usurp the natural martial arts spirit priesthood, just like these pussy-ass gangstalkers that are drugging me and using jaw-jacking and propaganda instead of meeting my challenge. Because so help me God on my ancestors, I would murder them so fucking fast if I saw it their way. And so help me God on the one true God, I am the fucking top, and I am their spiritual superior, and I will accept nothing less. They can fuck off. I don't care about their opinions.